Hey everyone, it's Frank Glezitz coming at you today from my home office. I'm with Mustafa here, who you'll see here in a second. And if you're looking to raise a little money to zero cost your marketing, or today I think it's actually going to be zero cost, maybe your assistant is how we'll position this. You're going to learn a success story. So Mustafa has been following the business sponsor course, the project we have here at Vyral, one of the add-ons to our core service to help you kind of raise a little money to complement, to offset a lot of the fixed expenses you take on as a real estate agent, generate leads and do business. One of the modules, one of the core deliverables in that project is starting a local mastermind, not a tips group, not a BNI group, but like an actual mastermind where you sit down with some business owners. Every business owner basically says, here's my biggest challenge or frustration, and maybe here's something I can give to the group. And you hold a discussion around that. These are very powerful. If you're watching this, you're probably one of the more successful real estate agents out there. You probably have been to a mastermind or two and know what I'm talking about. So this isn't news to you about holding a mastermind. But you could hold these for local business owners in your market. So, and they probably have never even heard of this stuff, of like even what a mastermind even means. It's a Napoleon Hill concept back from Think and Grow Rich, right? So getting local business owners together and to mastermind them, to build the relationship and get them to know you and like you and bring value through those discussions. And then through that by, maybe interviewing them on your blog and in your content, including them on a business directory on your website. You may be able to charge them and they can contribute in some way to the marketing, amount that you spend every month to generate business. So that's what the whole business project, sponsor project is all about. It weaves very nicely into the core Vyral marketing program, which we interview you on a webcam to help you stay in touch with your database. But Mustafa is taking this in a very interesting direction. He actually has other real estate agents paying him to be a part of his mastermind, a little under $2,000 a month total. And if you do the math, that's 24 grand a year. That's about 12 bucks an hour. And in many markets, that can afford you full-time or a really good even part-time assistant. That'd be $24 an hour. They're part-time. But essentially zero costing, let's say your assistant, right, Mustafa?
Absolutely. And that was the inspiration that I got from being in your course.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's step back. Let's just I want to get the whole story here. So for somebody watching this, they're going to go, wow, that would certainly be nice to get some extra cash to help lower the watermark of my fixed expenses from suffocating me if I don't have the revenue coming in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Tell me about, you first heard about this project that we were putting together. It's probably more of a project than a course. That's probably the language I like to use. Why did you sign up? Why did you do it? What was the main motivating reason? What tickled your fancy about it?
Yeah. Well, I've been following you for the past 5 years or so. Okay, and that's the first time I heard you on. You were interviewing another agent on. I guess it was Real Geeks.
Real Geeks. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And so I've been just following you, and then signed up. Because you're just giving so much value. And this one day, it was just a few months ago, I just get an email from you about this project. Yeah. And I was like, man, I've gotten so much value out of Frank, and I'm pretty sure whatever this project is all about, there's going to be a ton of it. So immediately I signed up. John called, and I was like, all right, well, I'm down. Sign me up. When do we start? Right? And there was like, I was 100% sure I was going to get something out of it. Right? And so we went through the project one by one, going through one day at a time. And even though I didn't get to execute on the plan the way it's taught, the plan that you have organized, the inspiration for this, the inspiration comes from your project for this agent mastermind. So right now I'm doing my second mastermind, and I put it together as a 3-month course. But it's essentially, the first one was free. I'm inspired by you. I just gave everything for free.
Yeah,
the first course,
that's a great way to start.
Just give it to everyone. And it kind of started a buzz within my brokerage. So we got about a little over 100 agents. And it started a buzz, and then all of a sudden, my broker is reaching out to me. They're like, hey, when are you doing the next one? And the agents are reaching out to me like, when's the next one? When's the next course? And at that point I was like, man, okay, well, I can't just do it for free because it's just taking so much time and, preparing the class and, the giving all the time. So I said, you know what, if I could just, have each agent pay $250, for the session that are going to be $250 for 3 months, that for that one batch of groups that are coming in, I'll do it. That's fine, not a problem. And immediately I had no issue having 7 people come in, and they were just ready to go. Paid, they were ready to go. And so this is my second session that I'm having.
Gosh, you're like right in the middle of the business sponsor project. So instead of interviewing local business owners to raise money, you started, or mastermind local business owners, you started bringing together and training agents with the same concept. And
the same concept, yeah. And again, it's like you said, it's not about showing them how to fill out the contract or how to do this form. It's literally, okay, let's start the session with what are some of your biggest problems, right? And it turns out that every single agent, we all have the same problem. It's the same problem. And then everyone realizes, man, we're in this together. Okay, so we're gonna have a nice journey, and we're gonna find the solutions and figure out the bumps in the road and make business, just rock our business here. So it's about giving them value, listening to what they are looking for, and then delivering on exactly what they need at that point of their business. And I've been, for 5 years, I've been through most of the challenges and experiences, so I can just share from my experience and what I found out, what works, what doesn't work with them, and then of course holding them accountable, right? And having them assignments. They have to go do the assignments, just like we have it in the mastermind project. Here's your assignment for the next week.
You kind of modeled the same way I structured the course.
It's the same structure, exactly. Assignments, people need to get it done. Next week we covered new stuff, and then check on what did you do, report, everybody's reporting, and really just holding everyone accountable, right? Mm-hmm. If you're in the course, there's assignments that are given, you do it, you report, you share. If you didn't do it, you have to say, hey, I didn't do it, right? And then deal with the consequences for the next session. Make sure you do it.
So this is interesting. So I thought it was a mastermind. You're actually taking what technically this is called is curriculum-based consulting with an implementation element.
I don't know what's it called.
Yeah. So for example, you're like, for traditional coaching, let's say you were to go to a coaching company and spend $1,000 a month for coaching, right? Mm-hmm. You would just have a call every single week and say, what's your challenge this week? And they would talk about it a little bit. And then you would work through that issue that week, whatever it is. Next week, you have your next issue, right?
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're making it curriculum based. So I'm guessing there's a lesson and a lesson and a lesson to actually implement something. Is that the case?
Yes. It's all about actions. Yeah.
Yeah. So are they all implementing the same thing, or is everyone at different stages?
They are all going to be implementing the same thing. And
so you're following the same model of how I put together the group projects, which is great.
Yeah. And the inspiration, of course, is that here's a curriculum. This is at the end is what's going to look like, and these are going to be the results. So forming new habits, and but it's definitely not about the mundane stuff. The 3 things that we track every single week, and we build a whole program around it, is leads. So your new contacts every week, and then the clock resets and you have to generate the same thing. Your appointments and contracts. Those are the 3 things that we track every single week for each agent. And each agents, on the first session when I sit with them, we go through this little exercise. How much do you want to make? Okay, it looks like if you want to make this amount, you have to have so many leads coming in per year, per month, and then break them down per week. And so they know their goals.
Now, are you charging $250 for the 3 months, or is it $250 a month?
It's $250 a month.
A month, so great.
Yeah, it's $250.
You have 7 people.
I have 7 people. Yeah.
That's wonderful. You can get so many more people.
Yeah, and so that's what's happening right now.
And it scales because you're doing it in a one-to-many situation in groups, aren't you?
Yeah.
Where it's not all one-to-one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you need a John like I have in my course, where I come and I teach my class. And then you have the one-on-one call with John for implementation. You need that one-on-one call every single week too, which is how the course is structured.
Yeah. And just like John, I'm having the in addition to being in the class,
You have the one-on-one meeting.
you have the one-on-one. It's a 30-minute phone call.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a lot of value. So they're getting a weekly meeting. How often are the meetings? Weekly or monthly?
It's weekly.
Oh my goodness. So they're getting a weekly group meeting with a weekly call for $250 a month.
I know. I know. Yes.
So here's one of the things we talked about. I just want to share it in the business sponsor course is you don't want to end up just trading all your time for money.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
If you got some more people in this, you could find someone that could do those weekly calls because all they're doing is just a basic accountability call, implementing what you talked about in the group project.
Yes.
So anyways,
Yeah.
this is good. Where do you think this is going to head, man?
I'm really actually enjoying it, even though this is my second. I've always been I've always enjoyed like building and not building, but like showing others and helping others. So like coaching or mentoring them, right? But I do see myself not so much being in the day-to-day grind of real estate, but also helping others, other agents be successful, right? And as long as I can be in touch with what's going on in the industry, what's working to generate leads, what's working to convert those leads, what works, right? And if I can have that knowledge and then share it with my group or my folks or the people that I'm serving, I consider it a mission fulfilled.
Well, this is good. So you basically traded about 5 hours a week of time if everyone's getting time on the phone with you, and then the weekly 1 hour meeting.
That's right.
You said, I'm going to trade 5 hours of my time to do this, but in return, a week, 20 hours a month of your time, you've purchased, $1,700 a month of arguably pretty consistent revenue.
True.
Because I'm sure once this word gets out, you'll have more people that continue after the 3 months, or you have another project where they just stay in a role and do another thing with the same people.
I already have people sending me application for the next session, right?
And what that did is it bought you that 20 hours a month of what you're doing here, that you're investing in that arguably has purchased you 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month of an assistant to the administrative side of your business. Right? That's the way I see this.
Yes. And
it's probably more enjoyable. You'd rather be doing this than the administrative stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the cool thing is, because even for somebody who's interested in recruiting, for example, right? And that's all they have to do is put a mastermind like this together and make it available to anyone and everyone. And just the value that you're getting, people will come. And out of doing just the 2 sessions that I've done so far, I've have 2 amazing agents. They've kind of, we started working together, and so they've become.
So you've recruited out of this. Okay.
Exactly. So recruitment just happened naturally out of it, which was not even planned. I don't even have a.
Yeah, that's natural.
Recruitment, right? And so I'm just happy to give them all my buyer leads. They're servicing them. I'll get my commission. I'll get my split. And hey, I'm happy. They're happy. Everyone's happy.
Seems like a good deal.
It is, but it's really underpriced right now.
It is.
But it's part of just giving value. So I get it, and it was not even intentional. But as there's more demand, I'm pretty sure the price is going to go up. Because I called for my coaching when I was looking for a coach just a few months back, and these programs are out there teaching the same kind of stuff that they're getting for like $10,000-$15,000 minimum. And I'm like, geez.
Yeah, the challenge is going to be if the agents in your office have the money to afford something like that. I bet you could probably go to 500 if you really wanted to and still be able to deliver plenty of value. Yeah. But here's the action step I would do is list it at 500 for sure, and then let people, a certain number of you are going to get it for 250. That way in your mind it also helps raise the price, because a lot of the challenge with pricing is, and we talk about this in the business sponsor course. I want to share this. So in the business sponsor project, again, you took it in a completely different direction, which is amazing and great, and fills all the needs of what you wanted. I mean, you basically got a little under, right now, if it continues going, that's about a little under 24 grand a year you've raised, right? Which basically pays for an assistant. You bought back your time. So that's very successful. You bought the course for $4 grand and 24 grand of money is coming from it.
Yeah.
Right?
And so, what I did with that is, with the money that's coming in, I hired so I had a virtual assistant in the Philippines, but I was able to hire 2 more folks from the Philippines who are now making my phone calls to generate listings for me.
Great.
Right. And so Zero cost, total zero cost. And we can talk
Beautiful.
about Philippines.
Well, yeah, that's great. And what's nice about that, I just have to share this. It's not about the money. It's fixed. It's not variable commission sales income where you're dealing with like some emotional seller backs out last minute and your commission check was designed to pay all your expenses.
Yeah.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
So, I think this is fantastic. You're doing this isn't a mastermind. This is a curriculum-based consulting. It's curriculum-based. You know, that's very important. I want you to understand that, because when it's curriculum-based like this, you can put people in groups because they're all dealing with the same thing. And you're going to have semesters. I would start calling your projects by semester. Got it? So this semester we talk about this. This semester we talk about this. Class start using that language, right? And what's nice about that, what I really recommend you do, remember the workbook I created?
Yes.
I didn't write it. I didn't write a word of that.
That was amazing.
So if you want, maybe give my gal some extra cash. All right. But the meeting was recorded on Zoom. I recommend you record your meetings, and then somebody watches it and creates a lesson.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay. So I have this 100 and gazillion page workbook. Let me see if I have it up here I can share. And it's for the mastermind? Yeah, for my whole project. It's really pretty amazing. I don't have it here, but
that was a good tree to have at the end of it. I'm like, wow, everything that we covered.
It's all right there. So I just recorded my Zoom meeting because it is on Zoom, and I would send to somebody, and they would watch it and write up a nice solid workbook with all the examples that I shared. And since you're kind of doing lesson by lesson by lesson by lesson, each Zoom video is a lesson, and the whole workbook is tabbed out. Now, once that's done, Mustafa, you can scale it, because now you can hire instructors to teach it because they're teaching to the material and not from experience.
Yes.
And when you teach to the material, not from experience, you don't have to have the best instructor because they're just repeating the information.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it scales. And now you're certifying people. I mean, I already see where this is going, man.
Dude, yeah.
All right.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. It's getting me excited just thinking about it. And for me personally, for my business, that's where I really get the enjoyment. Nothing against, showing houses or dealing with contracts. I've been doing it, but I find, there's more fun when, I show someone the ropes, they go and execute it, and they come back the next week and they're just like bright.
Yeah. I can't discount the fulfillment of this.
Yeah.
It is very fulfilling and fills your soul to really help them, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
Dude, this is great.
Yeah.
Are you recording your meetings?
I was not. No, I'm not. So, and I didn't even think about the system. So the first one was just like, putting together, it was just like piecemeal together. Second one was a little bit organized where I have, have the curriculum, like you said. So I have the course, exactly what we're going to cover, the homework's assigned, but they're not recorded. But definitely I see the value of recording it, just for like sharing it out there and giving more value for free, and instead people want to know what is all this program about, right?
Yeah, this is great, man. This is going to help you with recruiting. This is going to help you raise some money to zero cost some of your marketing or even your admin labor, however you want to use it, right? Yeah. It's going to bring you some fulfillment. It's going to bring you some joy. You should be really proud of yourself. You should.
Well, thanks to you. I mean, you were the inspiration for this. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't, when I put together those group projects, those add-ons, so we have the core service for the $2,000, $550 to help you stay in touch with the database, but then we have those 2 add-on projects that I teach. And the whole idea, the 80-20 rule of your clientele, there's probably a section of our clientele that wants more service, right? So there's an add-on, which is these projects that I guide people through to get more out of the core system. And I was like, how do I deliver this? Like, how do I actually get this done? And I came up with it. I haven't seen it done anywhere. It's a blend of one-on-one coaching, which is your call with John. It's a blend of group coaching, which is the group meetings every single week. But the problem with coaching is there has to be a curriculum or else everyone's on different things.
Yeah.
And you had to have defined start and end dates then. So it's semester based. So it's curriculum based. And you don't see a lot of that in the coaching consulting world in real estate necessarily, because you just call up and enroll in coaching and they just start you wherever you are. And therefore it's difficult to bring people together and work together in projects. So if you're going to do curriculum based, you're going to have semesters. So I would start marketing your next semester and start taking deposits, offering scholarships, right? And when people come work for you, they get a full scholarship to your school.
Dude, this is wow. This is beyond.
Isn't it? It's just a way of thinking about it, isn't it? It's just a different way of looking at how to position it and everything. So anyway, so what do you want to tell someone who's thinking about, you know what, I like the idea of a business sponsorship program. Maybe they take it in this direction, what you did, which is fine. Tell the viewer, I mean, you enrolled in this. Let me ask this. What was the highlight of the course, of the material?
Well, the highlight, first of all, how easy it is, right, to put it all together, because the roadmap is just right there given. And all we have to do is just take those actions, right? Whether we're reaching out to vendors or reaching out to whoever the end client is. And the beautiful part about it is you can implement it no matter which business, which industry you're in, whether you're a real estate loan officer, you can just put this together and deliver massive value and also get in return massive value out of it. The biggest ones for me was how easy the structure of running the mastermind is, because a lot of people just get confused, they get overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I've never run something, or I don't want to be the center of attention, but you're not. You are here to help other people. And when people feel like you are listening to them, and in that group, you may have agents, not just agents, but within that group, the people who are going to be part of the mastermind, they will have the solutions. And those people are there because they share the same value as you, which is the value is when you give, right? When you help out other people. So all those people who are going to be part of the project or in the class, they share the same value as you do, which is to help others, help each other out.
Isn't it cool when they start talking to each other and you're like, oh, this is nice?
Exactly. And it's been so fulfilling, because in my first session that I did, I had 2 agents who've been in the business for more than 10 years, right? And some of the stuff that they were sharing, even I took some stuff that I got out of that, right? So it's, when you put something like this together, you are going to be attracting the right type of people.
I want to show you guys something. You got to do a workbook, Mustafa, buddy. Man. So I found it. Here it is. 194 pages. I didn't write a word. So here's all the lessons. Lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, lesson 5. There's 24 lessons. See that?
Yes.
And basically, this is all the knowledge that came out of my head.
Wow. And of course, somebody else put this together?
Someone else did the whole thing.
You have. So is this somebody in your team or somebody like that's?
No, I hired somebody $10 an hour to come on in and say, look, you're going to specialize in, among other things, whenever I do a class, I want you to sit down, take a half day, watch the recording, and then write out, organize my thoughts for that lesson into a workbook. And what's really nice at this point, I'll wake up, I had class today, and it's 5 minutes before class. I'm like, I totally forget what I'm even talking about because I wasn't thinking about it. So I get to pull up my workbook and be like, okay, that's right. Boom. All right, there we go. Got it. That's the lesson today, because I'm teaching to the curriculum.
Yes. Right? Yes. And that's what I'm getting right now is in order for me to make this a little bit bigger than what it is right now, because there's a demand. I've realized it. There is a demand is for me to just make it a little bit organized, so have the workbook and have the recordings, which I haven't had it. So those calls could be recorded, and like you said, just in the future, some of my other agents, the way I love helping people, my agents and my team that are here, the part of the group, they have the same personality. They want to help. Yeah.
Well, you should be really proud of yourself. Thanks, man. I don't got any other questions for you. Anything else you want to say to the audience about how nice it is to raise some extra cash, what that's allowed you to do?
And how easy it is, until this is the first time I'm actually generating money that's not coming from a deal. That's the first time. And it's just opened up my mind. I could be having these coaching classes for agents. I could have, the sponsorship with all the other vendors. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mustafa, thanks so much.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks for making it easy, and thanks for your contribution.